Welcome. I'm Brian, and I'm pastor at St. Andrew's Christian Church in Rockland. And we're going to talk about how to join a Google Meet video conference. This isn't a really complicated video. It's just to make you comfortable and familiar with joining one of our discipleship groups, or even our Sunday worship can be joined through Google Meet in some circumstances. And our board is using this. We're using this for other team and committee meetings, and we want you to feel comfortable doing this. Now, just a couple of points. To simplify, I'm going to be doing this within a browser, a web browser, in this case, Google Chrome. There are several different web browsers. If you're an Apple user, you're probably very familiar with Safari. A Windows user, Chrome is probably one of the most popular browsers, but the built-in browser with Windows is now Windows Edge. And any of these browsers will work, but the way things show up on the screen might be slightly different. If you're using an app with your iPhone or your iPad or with an Android device, you may see things a little bit differently, and I hope that won't be too confusing for you. I don't have the capability right now of showing you how things are going to look in Apple and Android, especially once we get into Google Meet itself. But the process of getting there is pretty much the same. Now, over in my email, and I'm using Gmail, I did want to show you that I'm signed in to my Google account, and that's given me access to my email as well. But you don't have to have a Gmail address to be able to use Meet. It is important that you get a Gmail account. Sorry, not a Gmail account, a Google account. If you don't have a Google account, when you go to any google.com page, you'll end up with something like this. The Google search page with a sign-in option over here. And if you haven't signed into your Google account, you can do so by clicking on that. If you don't have a Google account, you can use the Create Account option down here to create an account if that's what you need to do. I'm not going to go through all the steps of creating an account, but you can use any of your email addresses, whether it's Yahoo or Hotmail or your internet provider's address. You can use that address and set up a password with it. Please remember your password, or let your browser remember your password for you. It will send you a verification email before you can actually use the Google account. That's just to make sure that you put in your email right and that you're able to be contacted through it. So you'll get an email, and it'll ask you to confirm that you intended to set up a Google account with your email address. But we're not going to go through all that. I just give you a little bit of a fair warning there. In my inbox today, I got an invitation to a discipleship group. And when I open the invitation, it looks like this. As you can see, I've fuzzed out in the video the specific information about this meeting. But when you see a Google Meet invitation, it'll have the format of meet.google.com, and then a /, and then a code that consists of 3 letters, a dash, 4 letters, a dash, and then 3 letters. That code identifies the specific meeting that you'll be joining. Another way to join, as opposed to on your computer, is to join by phone. Any phone will do. A standard landline will do. Phoning the number that's given, which is a long distance number but within Canada. So if your phone plan allows for long distance in Canada, you can dial that number, and it'll ask you for the PIN that follows afterwards, and you can go ahead and connect with our meeting that way. We do have a few people who don't have long distance plans. Are they shut out from joining in Google Meet? No. They can call the host of the meeting, give them their phone number, and the host of the meeting, if they're using our enhanced Google Meet, they can call from within the meeting and reach you at your home phone number or your mobile phone number to include you in the meeting by audio only. But we'll take a look at that later. The when you click on the link within the Google Meet, you'll go right to the opportunity to join the meeting. Now my camera is going to fail here because I'm talking to you with my camera on the on this screen. So I'm going to disable the camera here just so you can see my face over in the other location. So hello, now I'm in a Google Meet, and you will see that the menu around me is up here in the upper right side. There's some menu stuff, and then down below you can see a menu at the moment. If I move my mouse off of the Meet screen, you'll see that the menu at the bottom disappears most of the time. It hasn't disappeared for us today. But if it's ever missing, you can just move your mouse up on the screen and you'll find it. Let me show you a couple things that are important about this screen. Currently there's only one person on the screen, and sometimes when you open up, even though there are many people in the meeting, you'll only see one main person in the screen. You can go to this menu icon here, the three vertical dots, and you can go to change your layout. And my layout is set to tiled, so if new people join, I will see all the people in the meeting. There's a maximum number of tiles that I allow it to display, but that can be changed down here. That's all in the change layout screen. If you want to see yourself when other people join in the larger layout, you can do it up here, and you'll see that there's an option to, when there's more than one person, it'll allow you to click here to show yourself in this main tiled layout instead of just in the small picture up here. Another thing that's available on the screen is chatting. Did you see where I clicked there? That was on the speech bubble, and by typing into here, I can communicate non-verbally. Sometimes your host might want to point out some a link or something that will take you to a web page, and do remember that you should click on links with caution. Make sure you trust the person who's sending you links. But in this circumstance, I hope that our hosts will only be sending trustworthy links. So I got to the chat icon by clicking on this speech bubble up here, and I got rid of the chat window by clicking on the X over to the right. Google recently added a new feature called Raise Your Hand, and people have found this particularly useful when I'm hosting a meeting because I talk a lot. And raising a hand, it just puts a little icon on the screen that allows people to see that you want to get a word in edgewise. And then when you've gotten the attention and you've had the chance to say what you need to say, you can lower your hand again. That icon, that little thing is kind of useful. I also find if you're having trouble following the audio, that turning on captions can be helpful. And you'll see that Google is able to transcribe the text of what we're saying and help you follow what's going on. It's actually pretty accurate, and it can be fun to try and mess it up and get it to say the wrong thing, but it's getting harder and harder to fool these automatic transcription tools. I'm going to turn off the captions and go back to the regular screen. And when you're in the meeting, it can be useful to mute yourself, especially if there's a lot of people in the meeting and perhaps you've got some background noise in your home or office, wherever you're conducting the meeting from. Muting yourself turns your microphone off and you can't hear me. As I said, muting yourself turns the microphone off and you can't hear me. The leader of the group will sometimes mute a person if their microphone is causing feedback or a lot of background noise. For privacy reasons, the host cannot unmute you once they've muted you. You're the only one who can unmute yourself. So you don't have to be afraid of the group hearing stuff you didn't intend them to say once you've muted yourself. You can also turn off your camera if you're getting distracted by your picture, or if something's happening in the background that's distracting other people. And you can turn it back on again using this icon. The leave call icon is in the middle of those things, and you can do that at the end of the meeting. Those are the basics of using Google Meet for us. I am going to do a video about hosting a Google Meet meeting. The hosts have additional things available when we're using the enhanced Google Meet. And I'd like to just give a call out to Google Workspace for nonprofits. It's by enrolling in that free program that we have an enhanced Google Meet for the church, and it also gives us the enhanced YouTube services that allow us to stream our services the way we're doing them. And that's one way for a congregation to get some really good, solid technology for free. Still waiting for Google to come up with some of the features that are in other video conferencing software, such as breakout rooms, which would allow us to take a larger group and break up into smaller groups for a period of time. And if anybody from Google wants to pay attention, we're really waiting eagerly for that. The reason we're using this, of course, in this particular situation is it's free. There are other video conferencing solutions, and even Meet itself, without the Meet workspace for nonprofits, has limits on how big your groups can be and how long your meetings can last. But this gives us a lot of flexibility the way we're doing it now. I'm going to exit this meeting, and shortly after that, we're going to exit this video. So there's one other thing I wanted to add. If you have a repeating meeting, as we do with our weekly discipleship groups, you can just add the meeting as a favorite in your browser. Most browsers, all browsers, have a bookmark or favorite option, and it's usually located in the same place. Right over here beside the address of the meeting, you can click on the star and save it. I'm just going to save it as discipleship group. I'm going to save it in my bookmarks bar, which is the main bar that I have of bookmarks. And when I'm done, it's going to be in my bookmarks bar. My bookmarks bar has lots of bookmarks, so I'm going to take the discipleship group from the bottom of this bookmark thing and move it right up to the top here, just clicking and dragging. And now if I ever want to come back to the Google meeting, I can simply click on the discipleship group bar. Another way to get back to the meeting is to go back to your original email, find the discipleship group or whatever it was titled, and you'll find the link still there next week when you need it. An additional note: when it is a weekly repeated meeting, the link's going to be the same every time you go to the meeting. But if you have different meetings, that favorite that we added won't be the right link. If you have the link, or if you have the code for the meeting, but you don't have an email invitation, you can manually enter the code. And let me show you how that happens. Here on the Google page, I'm going over to Google Meet directly, and I can either start a new meeting, which is another topic altogether, or I can enter the link code. And if I enter the link code from the meeting that I was just in, we'll be able to go ahead and join it. So that code, you'll remember, was a three-letter dash four-letter dash three-letter code, and that code will join you to the meeting. So you might check the note you were given, the email you were given, or hear it verbally over the phone, and be able to type in that link. Uh, your your host can also re-email the invite to you if you call them, and that should help you get in as well. Again, I hope this whole series, this whole video has been helpful and give you some comfort with the Google Meet. And uh, we've been finding this tool so very effective at helping us to see our friends face to face, to be able to talk and catch up on each other's lives, to be able to pray for each other and encourage each other as we go deeper into the things that God is teaching us through His Word by His Holy Spirit and in the body of the church. So God bless you, and enjoy your time together.